Richards for bringing us together at this very important event. As you know, October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and the purpose of this month is to raise awareness of the signs of abuse and to support victims. Domestic violence is a problem that can affect anyone, regardless of gender, socio-economic status, or race. Its impact can last a lifetime. That is why I co-sponsored the Domestic Violence Survivors Justice Act in the New York State Assembly, which was signed into law in 2019. The Domestic Violence Justice Act allows for a judge to give shorter prison terms or to community-based alternatives to incarceration when sentencing a victim of domestic violence convicted of a crime related to the abuse inflicted by a member of the victim's family or household. In Albany, I chair the Corrections Committee, and we've been working very closely with domestic violence victims and survivors to achieve laws like that. It also allows for eligible incarcerated individuals to apply for resentencing if abuse was a significant contributing factor in the crime that they were convicted of. The law has helped domestic violence victims. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic has not. COVID-19 led to an increase in domestic violence. The isolation, economic downturn, and stress created a pandemic within the pandemic. That is why it is so important for me to come out today and join Borough President Richards for this ceremony to remember those we've lost to domestic violence during the pandemic and to honor the survivors. Unfortunately, there is much more work to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Weprin. Now it brings me great honor to bring up none other, someone who's worked on so many relevant initiatives in the Queens Borough President's office, but also someone who advocates for many issues across the borough. And I'm happy to call up my friend and partner, Rhonda Benda, Deputy Borough President.
Thank you very much, Assemblyman Weprin, and I cannot thank our Borough President enough for having the leadership and the vision to establish the Gender Justice Unit in his first days of taking office. Because in addition to the pandemic, we were going through a silent pandemic in so many of the homes. And so this morning, there was an incredible meeting with all the domestic violence organizations across this great borough, held across the street at the Family Justice Center in Queens. And this is the unit that works with the Mayor's Office of Ending Gender and Domestic Violence that was established in 2001, 20 years strong. The stories that were shared today and the accomplishments of these many organizations and what they've done throughout this year were so motivating and inspiring to continue the work that the Borough President has started here at Borough Hall for the first time. And so we'll definitely hear from the organizations that are here, but as well from Ariella Davidoff, who majored in women's studies, and we were so lucky to have an expert in the office to lead this under a Violence Against Women grant. And so there's a really incredible person at the center of all of this, and her name is Susan Jacob. We were joined by the commissioner today as well, who leads that mission for the mayor. But here in Queens, Susan is our point of contact. Before joining the Family Justice Center, she spent 10 years in India working with mothers and working with children and mothers with HIV. She also worked at the CDC and has an incredible resume. But since 2008, started off as a staff member at the Family Justice Center and has risen now to be their incredible executive director. And so we're so grateful that she's here today as our featured speaker, and then we'll be hearing from the other organizations that were able to stay this afternoon to share about what they've been working on this past year. So let's give a warm welcome to Susan Jacob.
You are too kind. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much on behalf of Cecile, Commissioner Noel, the Mayor's Office to End Domestic and Gender-Based Violence. We are so happy to be here. And first of all, thank you so much to the Queens Borough President Richards, as well as Deputy Borough President Benda. We are so so grateful for you to be at this event this morning and for this incredible partnership that we have. And it's so great because we're right across the street, which is so convenient. And it's like a second home to me. So we really appreciate your generosity to the commitment of domestic violence, and also to Ariella, who is incredible. We've had the opportunity to work together on domestic violence and gender-based issues, and it's been incredible. They have been such an amazing partner. The Family Justice Center, we have Family Justice Centers throughout every single borough, and any survivor of domestic and gender-based violence can call either 311 or the Safe Horizon hotline number at 1-800-621-HOPE. And this means every single survivor. It's very, very important to note that, especially during this month where we're recognizing National Domestic Violence. But we have to spread the message that there is all help out there for all survivors who are struggling. And we move forward, we help assist survivors, whether they move forward or don't want to leave the relationship, because it takes many times for survivors. They need support. They need a ear to listen to. That is one of the most important things. We have fabulous partners at the Queens Family Justice Center, as well as our incredible off-site partners throughout Queens. We would not be able to do this work without all of you in this space, and also our incredible on-site partners at the Queens Family Justice Center, including Jihad Fisher, who you'll be hearing from shortly, and along with 23 partner agencies at the Queens Family Justice Center. And of course, Queens being such a diverse borough, we at the Queens Family Justice Center and across the Family Justice Centers, we offer language access. Staff on site probably speak about 23 languages, and I speak Malayalam from South India myself. So we have various different cultural groups that are working with all different communities throughout Queens, and including our fantastic children's program. If anyone wants to visit us, please contact me, because especially I want to focus on children in particular. We've seen so many children who come in, because they are so children, child witnesses of domestic violence who come in, and they're so broken, they don't say a word. And once they come into our children's room and they meet with our children's counselor, and who is playing guitar with them and singing songs, and it's incredible to watch these children walk out with books and smiling, and I just hold on to that. And all the survivors, especially during this month, that have faced so much, but you know what I realize? They have incredible resiliency. We must remember that, especially during this month. So I thank each and every one of you, and let's spread the message that there is help out there. And please contact 311 or the domestic violence hotline if you or you know someone who is going through this. There is help out there, and we are here for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan. I'd love to call the Korean American Family Service Center Director and President, Jihad Fisher, and she's also joined with Eric, who's been a great partner, and we're so, we've been so grateful to be able to partner with you this past month, starting, I think it was one of the first days, with the Silent March that I know has been hosted with the precinct for decades. And so it's time to break the silence, and thank you for being there and being an ear for so many of the survivors. Please, we'd love to hear more from you, Jihad. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jihad Fisher. I'm the Executive Director at the Korean American Family Service Center. We've been around for 32 years providing social services to survivors of gender-based violence. We have one of our services 24-hour bilingual hotline. And during the pandemic, the call volume to our 24-hour hotline has been increased by 300%. So the incidence of gender-based violence has been skyrocketed. And with thanks to the partnership with Queens Borough President's Office, as well as Queens Family Justice Center, we were able to save our victims' lives and have them become the survivors of gender-based violence. So thank you so much for the collaboration. As Susan said, you're not alone. We're gonna be there for you. We've worked on so numerous cases together during the pandemic, and all the cases that we're hearing through our 24-hour hotline, nothing is new. It just have heightened. So we need to raise the awareness and also continue. I look forward to the continued collaboration with wonderful city agencies so that KFSC will go out of business because there won't be any violence in the future. Thank you so much. And I want to give a special shout out to Queens Borough President Donovan Richards, who's been an incredible support for this movement.
Thank you so much. We learn so much from you every day, Jihad. Next, we'd like to call up Mansour and Truza from Women for Afghan Women, who participated in the Borough President's Domestic Violence Fair last week. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mansour Ranjbar and I'm working as an advocacy and outreach coordinator with Women for Afghan Women organization. It's really nice to be here actually talk about the domestic violence issues and concerns. Women for Afghan Women has been working for the past 20 years in fresh meadows providing protection and support for the survivors of GBV and domestic violence. It's really great to see several players around. I've recently actually joined Women for Afghan Women organization. It's been 3 months I have come from Afghanistan and I was a gender advisor back in Afghanistan. The way I see, there is a big difference back in Afghanistan and here. There are lots of support available for domestic violence. There are lots of stakeholders working in this area. This makes me happy that there shouldn't be any victim, there shouldn't be any survivors. And there should be a big chain of support for our survivors of domestic violence. The much we could collaborate and coordinate with all stakeholders in this area, I hope there's no more kind of survivors, there's no victim word. And I hope that we live in a peaceful life and no one disturbs women. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thanks again to all the organizations that are partnered here today. We have to really thank also our Chief of Staff and Michael Mallon, who were instrumental, and Bree Mulligan, who's here in spirit, who were instrumental in standing up the Gender Justice Unit. And the Borough President had so much foresight because even during the transition, there was someone who was a gender justice advisor that looked over every single committee and advised on how can we make sure that there's a gender lens on everything that happens at Borough Hall. So I cannot thank the Borough President enough for that. And that's why we're here today, and I'm so honored and privileged to introduce Ariella Davidoff to close us out, to talk a little bit more about the resources. One of the first changes that was made to the website was adding a domestic violence resource list. So of course we have to again thank our IT team, our communication team for helping us with that. So I know that's one of the resources available, but I want Ariella to tell you how else you may be able to work with the office going forward.
Hi everyone. Oh, I don't like my voice in a microphone, so excuse me, but thank you so much for being here. It's really a delight to close out October and Domestic Violence Awareness Month with everybody, and especially our partner Susan Jacob, who's an incredible leader, an incredible powerhouse of resources and knowledge and support to victims and survivors, and also to all of the resilient people doing this work who are around the clock listening to survivor stories, including Jihad Fisher and Women for Afghan Women, our representatives. Thank you so much for being here. And all of the folks who are not here that we met with this morning. And so I do want to mention that a little known fact is that domestic violence survivors and victims are a protected class in New York City. And this is a city law that it comes from CCHR, if I'm correct. And so our goal here is to elevate the resources that are available and also expand on them, and that's the goal of the Gender Justice Initiative. And so thank you again for everybody for being here, and yeah, I think that's our close. And thank you to the Borough President and Donovan Deputy Borough President, and Michael Mallon, our Chief of Staff Frank Joseph, for your foresight in establishing the Gender Justice Initiative.